Hey all, welcome back to SourceFedNERD. I'm Filup Molina, and as we wrap up the year, we're also rounding up some of the absolute best stuff 2016 gave us, and this time we're talking TV shows, whether or not they aired on TV. Like, if you could watch it in episodes and they were at least like 22 minutes long, we considered it. Now, you might have seen our top 10 list of best movies for 2016, and if you did, you'll remember that I said it's really hard to find a consensus here because everybody's taste in movies is very subjective. Well, it turns out taste in TV shows is way more subjective. So this top 10 list is very hotly debated. And when you get through it, you can fight us all you want in the comments below. Again, though, I think you guys actually have great taste, so we're probably just gonna agree with you down there. But let's get started with the fan favorites that were pretty easy to get a consensus on. Almost everyone liked these shows. First up, it was the hit of the summer, a couple days before my birthday, by the way. Stranger Things. Sure, our rose-tinted glasses have faded and we know that it's not a perfect show, but this show got more things right than almost any other show this year. Was it a huge nostalgia meat pie? Yeah. Did it work anyway? Yes. The mystery was tantalizing and the casting was perfect. And at 8 episodes, the story clipped along at an addictive pace, didn't have any unnecessary filler, and left us wanting so much more, which thank God we are getting season 2. Little trivia, this was one of only 2 shows that everyone agreed deserved to be on this list. Stay tuned for the other one. Up next, we've got the oh my god, how did I even have to fight for this one spot with Game of Thrones. Guys, Game of Thrones only has a few episodes left, and with the storylines finally converging, shit has gotten real. Like, so real. For me, personally, this was one of the best seasons of the show, and it's not just because it was a season where the Starks finally got their shit together and came back, it's quite possibly got the greatest artistic depth of any show on this list. And I know that sounds crazy pretentious, but I don't mean like, ooh, it's so deep. I mean depth like in sports, because Game of Thrones, no matter the position, writing, directing, acting, the caliber of people they put into those spots, they're all heavy hitters. Go watch the last 2 episodes of this past season and realize those were 2 of the best episodes TV has ever had, period. On any show. The Battle of the Bastards was better than most movies this year. The 10-minute musical opening of the finale wins a winner. It's a brilliant, beautiful, and devastating short film all unto itself. Damn, that show's good. All right, up next, the show that took over the Game of Thrones slot, and nobody really believed it would be near as good, but then, surprise, surprise, we got freaking Westworld. This show took an arguably silly concept for a movie and made it one of the most thought-provoking shows this decade. I feel like this show is the spiritual successor to Ex Machina. It's so much more than a show about robots, it's a show about the definition of life. We actually talked a lot about that idea this year on this channel. The coolest thing about this show though is that the audience is actually serving as the test subjects for the question that Ex Machina posed. Who cares if you know it's a robot? The real question is, can you love it anyway as if it's a human? And this show, week to week, if you bother checking in with your little heart, you're gonna realize, holy crap, you love those characters. And those characters, by legal definition, are objects. But also, I'm gonna admit, I myself can't say these objects are technically alive. The line between life and lifelike gets real messed up when you let things have memories and learning and emotions. And boy, I gotta wonder how the show is gonna affect our point of view on this subject when technology actually does get there. It's gonna get real complicated for us. So you see why that show's on this list. It makes you just wonder some serious shit. Up next on our list, we wouldn't shut up about it for the last 3 months or so, and it's the other show that we were all able to agree on. Ooh, it's Black Mirror. As nerds, we celebrate advancements in technology more than our friendships because technology is our only friend. And when the future comes, we're the ones that are gonna usher in these technologies. We're the early adopters. We're the people that dive in full force. And that's why this show hits us so hard. It teaches us in each of its terrifying parables that our obsession is going to bring about our own demise. Isn't that fun? Now, I'm not gonna say this was the best season of Black Mirror, but it's kind of silly to compare season to season when every single episode is so different. What I will say is that the show feels as relevant as it ever has. Probably the most it's ever been, to be honest. And the San Junipero episode is one of the best the show has ever had, and it makes me question how I wanna live, but also how I wanna die. Damn, I love shows that make us sit and talk about what the hell is going on in our world every time you watch an episode. That dark reflection on society is probably our only hope for saving us. But also I'm like 60% sure people are gonna get ideas from the show and actually cause those things to happen, so who knows, we might be fucked anyway. All right, up next, another Netflix series, and can I just say that the Netflix representation on this list is gonna be huge. 3 out of the 5 shows we've talked about so far are Netflix shows. And at this point, I'm just gonna say, can all the properties just go to Netflix, please? Their track record is so good. Hell, I would pay another $1 a month for their content. Oh god, don't tell them I said that. But back to what show it is, it's Daredevil season 2. Was it perfect? Hell no. Was The Punisher that good that it makes the list anyway? Hell yes. I got a lot of beef with Foggy this year, and the Elektra stuff was like kind of hit or miss, but the Frank Castle stuff was always hit. And I'm so pumped to see more of Jon Bernthal on his own. Moving right along is the first show on this list that I didn't personally watch this this year, but the rest of the nerds felt good enough about it that it made the list. So let's talk about this season of American Horror Story. Here's what Sam had to say about it. If you want to see a unique take on the found footage horror genre, check out season 6 of American Horror Story. If you felt burned by previous seasons of American Horror Story, whether it be Coven or Freak Show or Hotel, this season will restore your faith. It did for me, Sam. The first half of this season tells the tale of a couple who was trapped in a haunted house, and their tale is reenacted by actors. And then after the 5th episode, the season takes a turn, and then it becomes an all-out sprint to the finish line, and it's only 10 episodes, so check it out. Okay, well that's Sam, and he certainly seems to think we should watch it, so let's give it a chance. Also, if you're not convinced, check out my Roanoke video I did about the topic they covered this season, because that story is really juicy and hopefully the season paid that off. I don't know, but maybe. Up next, another one of Sam's favorites actually, and I'll say that the first episode of this show blew me away too, but I didn't find myself needing to watch the rest, but I do definitely agree that it was probably one of the more monumental shows this year. Here are Sam's thoughts on Atlanta. Donald Glover and FX came together and created Atlanta, a new dramedy series, and Donald writes and stars as the main character, Earn, who's just trying to get by in the city of Atlanta, while also trying to provide for his baby mama / girlfriend and his daughter. Earn eventually convinces his cousin, who's an up-and-coming rapper, Paperboy, to let him be his manager. The series is really short, and each episode barely goes over 20 minutes, so it's an easy watch. If you're a fan of real human emotions and awkward human emotions, you're gonna wanna check it out. And I think it's one of those things, this is Philip talking now, where this is gonna resonate with you or it won't. But luckily, even if it doesn't, the writing is actually really good and really funny, and I'm actually gonna definitely be binging this one over the break. We're nearing the end of our list here, and the next 2 shows are 2 of Whitney's favorites, and they're both Netflix shows. First up, here's why Whitney thinks BoJack Horseman belongs on this top 10 list. If you enjoyed season 1 of BoJack, you're definitely gonna dig season 2. It's more of the same sad, touching, hilarious goodness about BoJack, the washed-up actor. It's one of the most honest portrayals of working in the entertainment industry, and it doesn't shy away from diving into heavier, more existential themes. This season throws some crazy situations in the mix, and also it has a really wonderfully experimental episode where BoJack spends the whole time underwater. Philip talking again, that sounds awesome to be honest, and from what I've heard, BoJack's a show that you have to give like 5 episodes to, and then you're hooked forever, so just keep that in mind if you do give it a chance. Up next, Whitney's pushing Orange is the New Black on us, and I used to watch that show and really enjoy it, but it kind of lost me last season. But Whitney says I should shut up and watch it anyway, cause you might have been disappointed with season 3, but damn if it didn't redeem itself this year. Season 4 came back with all the clever quips and rich characters we've come to know and love, but with an edge that we haven't previously seen before. Side note, this is Philip. Holy crap, because that show had a lot of edge before, so if it had more edge now, then who knows what that means. Back to Whitney. That season finale is a real brutal one, and it definitely left me, Whitney, on the edge of my seat. I would rather watch a spin-off of that show starring Whitney, because that girl would definitely run things in a lady prison, or in any prison, probably. All right, and finally, this is gonna sound crazy, but our last show to make the top 10 list is one that none of the nerd hosts are currently watching, actually. And yet, we all promise to get on board with it because those in the office that do watch it won't shut up about it. It's Narcos. This is another Netflix show, surprise, surprise, about the DEA's hunt for infamous drug dealer Pablo Escobar. Now, here's the reason I held off on Narcos. The first season got mixed reviews. It was supposedly amazing in a million ways and yet still didn't click for some reason. But apparently the second season, which is where a lot of people say the show should have started, is supposed to be amazing. This is all based on the true story of capturing Pablo Escobar, and so they stuck with that timeline. And it's not until the second season starts that the shit really starts to go down. Here's a description of what was really happening in that time period that this season covers. Quote, there were 143 Colombian national police officers killed in the manhunt for Escobar, and Medellin became the murder capital of the world. Forget serial killers with their little killing streaks. During this time, Medellin had 30 to 50 murders every weekend that were all tied to Escobar. And holy crap, I have to watch the show right now. But before I do, I gotta give a quick shout out to all our honorable mentions for the best TV this year. Remember, this list was super hard to narrow down, and all of us walked away having lost a little piece of our souls. So when it comes to superheroes, shout out to Luke Cage, you were great, you just didn't have enough steam behind you to get on this list. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., thanks to Ghost Rider, you found a new life, and we're still really excited for the rest of the season. And of course, we have a little soft spot for all those CW shows, which we really do love, but let's be honest, you can't put them up against these big budget shows that they get the best in the industry on each and every week, and I don't know, these shows are just for us fans, and they don't need no stinking lists for approval. Though do watch our Nerd Emmys from this year where we focus on all those shows and actually what they do so well. And if you paid attention to politics this year, I hear it was a pretty big year of politics. Actually, shout outs to the 2 shows that helped us survive 2016. 2017, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. The Daily Show alums are doing some of the best work on this content out there, but you know what? I know that a lot of you actually might not agree with the slant those shows have, and that's completely within your right. So we also want to give a shout out to Veep and House of Cards because those shows don't give a fuck about what side of the aisle you align with. They make it clear they're all terrible. A quick shout out to Walking Dead last season, up until the cliffhanger, was really good, I thought. Had a lot of symbolism, some great storytelling, some not so great storytelling. Cliffhanger could have gone a little differently. I think they should have done just a few more minutes before they cut it off. And then this season, we'll see. It was really debated whether or not we should include Walking Dead on the list. It's definitely the most watched show on Sunday nights on cable, so a lot of people think it's great. I think it's great. I'm a big fan. I really hope it gets really good in 2017. Oh, and finally, please, this is a personal shout out. The Night Of, so good. John Turturro is not acting. He is being in that show. And also Riz Ahmed from Rogue One. He is mind-blowingly good in that too. And the mystery is solid too. And man, it's just great. It's like a real good episode of Law & Order, but like way more realistic and gritty and adult. And maybe don't watch it with kids around now that I think about it. But okay, that's it for me. Please check out our other countdown list and let me know in the comments what you thought of our top 10 TV show list, what we left out, what we should have never put in there maybe. I'll be in there taking notes because I'm about to binge so many things. Oh, also, let's talk about these things on Twitter too, @Fimo. Okay, that's it. I love you all. Bye.